Hi there, Lady Val here, and I'm back today with the beginning of my February design team project for Junk Journal Fix with SunflowersAndDors. This is Mandy's new kit, which is Ink Stained Grunge, which is right up my alley, so I'm having a good time with this. But I was having a little bit of trouble deciding what I wanted to do for my project this month. So I finally came to the conclusion that my base is going to be a long tab journal. And what I mean by that is there's no sewing involved in this journal. It is all done by connecting the pages with tabs, full page tabs. Now I've done, the 3-2 tabs before, and I've done it with fabric when I did my Annabelle Steampunk Blues journal, but this is the first time I've done a long page tab, so I thought I would give it a try. So what happens with these is you can actually, and I didn't do a lot of this, but I know, I didn't invent this, it's been out there for a long time, but you can use different size papers. You can use longer ones, shorter ones, you can use any size papers doing this. So that's kind of a neat thing. You can, put any kind of papers in it. So I did mix it up a little bit. But I'm just going to take you through it, and then I will be back with additional videos along the way showing you what I've done as far as decorating. So what I wanted to show you though, first off, well, I'm going to show you exactly how to put a long tab together, but I also spent a day, I dusted off my Brother Scan and Cut to cut out all the ephemera pieces that Mandy had in her kit. So that's all of these that I will be using to decorate the kit, which I will come back in videos along the way to show you. But this long page tab, I'm going to go through it. I used, well, it's 2 inches total, 1 inch, for each side. And I took Mandy's papers, and I did print on the back of them because it is easier with two-sided papers. So I did some lined papers. I had some in, I had a download in my stash for lined papers. So that's what I used. And, I liked the fact that she had these ring binding papers in her kit. So that's what I used to bind my journal, which I thought, just added a special little touch. So I used, I'm using her papers, and then I had some coffee dyed paper that I had done. And then here I used a 2-tab to put this little insert in the middle of this, the coffee dyed papers. And this is just a card I actually had in my stash. And they came originally with a red insert that you could write on, and that showed through the rows. But I used my own paper that I made with my jelly plates, because I had a little scrap of that left over. So I thought, well, that shows through, and I thought it looked kind of nice. And then I was just trying out my new stamps. I saw these stamps, these little background stamps on Amazon. And I have a million stamps, but, it caught my eye, and I thought, okay, so it's from Quancraft. If anybody's interested, you can look them up on Amazon. But they're just fun background stamps, and I did do some, stamping. So I was just trying out some of the stamps there. So that's that little insert, and I put tabs on each side. And then this is one of Mandy's papers that's a pull-out. And I put the lined paper on the back. And again, I used her ring binding there. Then I had some vellum paper I thought I would put in, so I put some vellum in there. This is the other. I used the whole vellum page. I did some stenciling on the back of this one that was, you know, the cutoff where I had cut one of the other papers shorter, and I just put a little pocket there. And then another one of Mandy's papers. Another one. This is a tea-dyed paper I had in my stash. And another one of Mandy's papers will be the back. Now, this is really a fun and easy, quick way to do this. So I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. Now, these were the only papers that I had left over, besides the end pieces from cutting the tabs out. So I've got, you know, quite a few papers to work with, plus all of the ephemera that Mandy had in her kit. So that's always a plus. Plus, I just picked up some fat quarters from, I go to Walmart to have my nails done at the Divine Nail Shop. And I just picked up a couple of fat quarters. I always look at them to see if there's anything I can use, because they're inexpensive. They're only $1.97 for each fat quarter. So I bought some with the colors for this, so I know I can coordinate these into the decorating the little journal. This one happens to be a Harry Potter fabric, which, you know, I love Harry Potter. For anybody that has watched my first few videos knows that's how I started really in the crafting, was making Harry Potter apothecary bottles. So, and then I stumbled upon junk journaling, and here I am. Okay, so here's two of the scraps from, you know, the pages that I had cut, and I'm going to show you how these tabs work. So here's the tab. I cut a 2-inch strip. I folded it in half so we have 1 inch, and I do ink around them, both sides actually. I'll show you why in a minute. So I just, in this case, I'm using tea dye, which I pulled out of my stash. I have lots of ink pads and things that have been sitting in my stash for ages that, you know, I haven't used. I just keep using the same things over and over, and I thought, you know what, I need to get all this out and use it. I mean, I'm so fortunate to have everything I have, and I really need to put it to good use. So that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, this is a really fun and easy way, especially if you're a beginner and you're a little intimidated by sewing your journal in, your signatures in a journal. This is one way you can eliminate that for now, you know, for the time being, until you feel more comfortable doing that. Now on the inside, I basically only do the middle, because you will see a little bit of that, or there's the possibility you will see a little bit of that. And I do each end, because there's a possibility you will see that. Because like I said, some pages are longer and some are shorter, or you know, you can cut them evenly. I mean, it's really one of those things that is entirely up to how you want your journal to look. I did even mine out on the bottom, but I did leave them a little bit different on the top. But okay, now you have, you know, it depends on what you're trying to put together here. So if this is your front page or the page that you're working with, and you want to have this one as your flip this way, then you're going to put these together this way. So, and that's how I decided to show you how to do this. So for me, I use the Beacon 3-in-1, then I do not have to worry about the paper bubbling, the paper wrinkling. I did try on the very first one, someone else I saw was saying how they, gosh, now I've got it how they're always using tacky glue, and they love it. And I thought, well, I've got tacky glue, let me get that out. Now here I am telling you to use this, and now it's stuck for some reason. It usually is not. Okay, let's see. Anyway, she was, you know, going on about how wonderful tacky glue was, so I tried it, and oh my God, it was, in my opinion, just horrible. It was, the paper was so wet, and it was wrinkling, and it took forever to dry, and I thought, oh no, I'm not doing that again. Not falling for that again. So I back to my all-time favorite. And I know a lot of people use the glitter glue, and I do use that for some things. I'm actually finished my art glitter glue, and I'm using Barely Arts, which I've had it again in my stash forever and a day. So I thought I better get that out and use it. Okay, so now you see that this tab is a little bit longer than my paper, which is fine. I can trim that off when I'm done here. But I'm just bringing it up to the edge, making sure it's even with the edge of the paper, and just pressing it down. And then we take the other piece. Again, more glue. You know, and about the other glue, could be I'm just heavy-handed with glue, which I know I am. I probably use a lot more glue than I need to for everything, and that probably can account for, you know, the fact that it was so wet for so long. Okay, so then I line this up. With the very edge again. And if your papers are not even, and you want them to be even, this is all it takes is a little snip. This one looks like it needs a little trim. And what do we got on this side? Okay. Now there is a perfect example of a full page tab, and the way you would attach the next page would be the same here. You could attach it this way or this way. Choice is yours. And then you just keep building until you have the number of pages that you want. And so, like in this one, you can see it's made a small, you know, somewhat of a waterfall. There are pages in between, but it shows different papers here. Which is, again, you can make them all even, all the same size. You can make them a waterfall, you know, with many, many pages. You can put in longer papers. You know, you can attach longer papers that, you know, will stick out on both ends. And it looks just fine. I've seen, you know, other creators that do this, and it just, any way you do it, it comes out fine. And then, of course, you know, can decorate it. You can change it up on the inside. You can add, you can delete. You can do whatever you want when you go to decorate it. So that is where I'm going to start my February project. And I will come back with a little video of the decorating that I have done. And I hope you enjoyed this little short video, and try this little long tab binding. It is a lot of fun. You know, and then, like I said, the reason I you know, put dye or ink on the middle white part is because you can see it a little bit. And then you can come in and add your, you know, touches with your ink, however you want to do it. It's all up to you. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a like. And if you would share it with your friends, that would be great. I would love to build up my subscriber base. I'm just fairly new at this, so I'm trying to get up there with the big gals. I know that takes a while, so thank you for coming and sharing this time with me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.